In the metro city of Manhattan, there is literally a lot of things you can do that, quite honestly, can never really fit within a week or within a day's itinerary for one person. However, in a very specific location in Rockefeller Center, between 48th Street and 5th Avenue, there is a store that is heralded by many gaming enthusiasts and enjoyers, specifically Nintendo fans, which is known as the Nintendo NYC store. For today's special episode of Stage Select, I am not just going to be talking about Nintendo NY itself currently. I am also going to be adding my two perspectives from when it was once Nintendo World, and even before then, Pokémon Center NYC. So, I hope you're prepared to hear my experiences, and overall, a quick journey back in time from three specific eras and from their perspectives entirely. This commercial will always be a part of my life, as it was the very first thing I even heard of the Pokémon Center in New York City all those years ago. So imagine yourself literally coming back from school. You're tired, you want to play some Nintendo 64 games, you're going to launch up Mario Party or Donkey Kong 64, or even Pokémon Stadium or Super Smash Bros. And then you see a commercial of Pikachu entering a train, leaving said train, running around in Central Park, and then a bunch of kids are following him into what appears to be a store, and then the Pokémon Center logo, the address, and all the stuff that you could even do in that place. Man, I was hype as hell when I saw this commercial, but I will say that I have three fond memories of this place. One particularly is that this was why I was able to get a shiny, forgive me for pronouncing this wrong, Raikou. Yeah, one of the three legendary dogs from the Johto region. I ended up getting one of those and an egg. And to this day, and I do mean this, to this day, I don't remember what kind of Pokemon was supposed to hatch out of it. I was so busy, like many other hoops who didn't really knew much about the Pokemon meta, because that didn't exist until probably, I'm assuming, the Hoenn region, where if you had a legendary Pokemon, you were basically already OP to deal with. And yeah, I didn't even bother knowing what kind of Pokemon would have come out of it. So that's one. Two, I've collected a lot of Pokemon plushies, and a majority of them are still with me today in storage. Don't worry, it's not like a big collector's. It's just there's a lot of plushies. I think at best maybe 10 or 15. I didn't collect that much, but I collected mostly the legendaries and a few ones that I actually like the most. I did also have a couple of interesting merch, let it be the Mew card and when you go see the Pokemon the movie 2000, and a couple of other collectibles that also came out during the movies. You know, the first Pokemon movies that you had to go see in the movie theaters. Yeah, those I also collected and are also in storage as well. And finally, my fondest moment in the store. I remember that so many times because, I guess in a weird way, and I will talk about this one day when it comes to a certain Pokemon and fighting games, pretty much Super Smash Bros. Melee and a couple of other Pokemon games were actually at the bottom floor. There was even a giant Pokedex where you can literally look up the Pokemon that you wanted to know so much about. And then there was like a lot of events, parties. I surprisingly had made a lot of friends that, in hindsight, if we actually had social media back in those days, oh man, we all would have been talking about Pokemon this, evolution this, or why Charizard is the best Pokemon, page number 128 out of 45 or something. I can guarantee you that during those moments, during my time growing up, I had a really good childhood when it comes to visiting this place. And now the Nintendo World era. Honestly, I'm gonna say that this particular era was when I was mostly in late middle school to a majority in high school. Man, I can tell you how many times I've come to visit to this place when I really wanted to at least see what was new. Now, granted, in the early years of this place, there really wasn't that much that got me excited and really hyped about. And remember, this was way before people started coming in for direct reactions or E3 demos and everything. This was when, at the beginning, people didn't even knew what this was until it started having a bit of a presence. I remember that alongside the Pokemon plushies that at least I thought that were unique, they did sell unique items that to this day I still have a few of them that are, I guess, part of my, I want to say, inventory. One in particular that I like to share with you is this. This right here is a Mario Hoops 3-on-3 Mario Gray hoodie that I was able to own for so many years. Yeah, and this thing still fits. Not gonna lie, this thing still fits. It's comfortable and it's very, very, very comfortable to wear. Majority of the times that I've been here have mostly been just to look for exclusive Nintendo merch that I remember that had Mario plushies, and little by little they started introducing a lot of variety of clothing, collectibles, and even some that still remain within the Pokemon Center, or at least like the remnants of it. But I do also remember that there was a lot of times that I literally played a lot of the Wii games, more specifically Punch-Out for Wii and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. I remember a couple of times during, literally between those two games, I was actually asked to not go over the, well, not go to the title defense at the time because they didn't want people to find out, oh hey, guess who's at the very end of this whole thing, which you can pretty much look it up yourself at this point with YouTube. And then of course with Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, let's just be real, I just been playing the game with Ryu, Chun-Li, Frank West, Zero, and God knows how many other characters I was playing, because I just really loved the feel of playing Tatsunoko on the Wii. Granted, I saw one dude that actually told me that, hey, I really like your Shin Shoryu combo. And yeah, that's like pretty much one of my fondest memories within the moment that the Nintendo World era kicked in. At the very end of it, I do know that there was a lot of people that do came in for the Nintendo Directs or the E3 show demos, as I mentioned before. I was able to enjoy a few of these demos and was able to collect even exclusive Nintendo gear that you usually don't see anymore. Nowadays, they kind of just go up for a pretty penny on eBay or something. But yeah, this is pretty much the one that I ended up growing up the most from middle school to high school at this moment in time. And now we go to Nintendo NY, or Nintendo New York to those who want to prefer calling it that way. So pretty much this store is not like the previous two versions that it was before, but I can say that in the more literal sense, it became more of a pit stop for tourists who basically just want to buy Nintendo merchandise. Let it be Nintendo Switches, the alternate versions, there's even ones that have like different patterns, you know, like the one that comes with Smash Brothers, Breath of the Wild, vice versa. And of course, obviously, you can buy some games, some Lego, amiibos, and every once in a while they do have merch that I will say is various, and it gives you a good amount of what you can definitely go for when you come to visit here. They still do live Nintendo Direct reactions, and it's pretty cool to be a part of them every once in a while. But overall though, this place for me isn't as impactful compared to the previous two eras that I was a part of this store, when it was both Pokemon Center and then also Nintendo World. I will say that despite what I'm going with my, I would say, honest criticism about the place, it is worth looking into if you're looking for something extremely rare or something that you don't usually find in a GameStop, Best Buy, or any other electronics store that has a lot of gaming involved with it. And most of the time I do get the new amiibos such as the Kazuya one and a couple of others here as well. But pretty much for me, in terms of like my point of view with the store, is nice, and it has a great legacy that had built upon it ever since. So if you happen to pass by the New York area, definitely come by and visit this place.